All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Anuja Kumar. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts India's G20 presidency will be inclusive, decisive and action-oriented. Filing of nominations for second phase of Gujarat Assembly elections to end this evening. Civil Aviation Ministry removes mandatory requirement of wearing masks inside flights. Enforcement Directorate summons Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren in illegal mining case today. Month-long Kashi Tamil Sangamam begins in Varanasi today, and in shooting, India bagged 4 more gold medals at Asian Airgun Championship in South Korea, taking total tally of yellow medal to 22. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi returned to New Delhi last night after concluding his 3-day visit to Bali in Indonesia, where he attended the 17th G20 summit. Mr. Modi has thanked the people of Indonesia, the Indonesian government and President Joko Widodo for their warm hospitality. Besides attending the G20 summit, the Prime Minister held fruitful deliberations with various world leaders and also highlighted India's position on key subjects. India was also handed over the presidency of the G20 at the closing session of the summit yesterday. Indonesian President symbolically handed over the G20 presidency to Prime Minister Modi. India will officially assume the G20 presidency from the 1st of next month. Speaking at the closing session of the summit, Mr. Modi said, as the country takes over the presidency of the G20, it is a matter of pride for every Indian. He said India is taking charge of the G20 at a time when the world is grappling with geopolitical tensions, economic slowdown, rising food and energy prices, and the long-term ill effects of the pandemic. He assured the world leaders that India's presidency of G20 will be inclusive, ambitious, decisive and action-oriented.
मैं ये आश्वासन देना चाहता हूं कि भारत की G20 अध्यक्षता इंक्लूसिव, एम्बिशियस, डिसिसिव और एक्शन ओरिएंटेड होगी। अगले 1 साल में हमारा प्रयत्न रहेगा कि G20 नए विचारों की परिकल्पना के लिए और सामूहिक एक्शन को गति देने के लिए एक ग्लोबल प्राइम मूवर की तरह काम करे। वैश्विक विकास महिलाओं की भागीदारी के बिना संभव नहीं है। हमें अपने G20 एजेंडा में वुमेन लेड डेवलपमेंट पर प्राथमिकता बनाए रखनी होगी।
Our correspondent reports that during the summit, the member nations adopted the Bali Declaration, expressing deep concern over the challenges posed to global food security, exacerbated by current conflicts and tensions. The member countries also expressed commitment to taking urgent actions to save lives, prevent hunger and malnutrition. More from our correspondent.
The G20 member nations called for an accelerated transformation towards sustainable and resilient agriculture and food systems and supply chains. The declaration expressed commitment to protect the most vulnerable from hunger by using all available tools to address the global food crisis. It said they will take further coordinated actions to address food security challenges, including price surges and shortage of food commodities and fertilizers globally. The member nations also extended support to the international efforts to keep food supply chains functioning under challenging circumstances. Anand Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
On the sidelines of the G20 summit, Mr. Modi held bilateral meetings with the leaders of Indonesia, Singapore, Germany, Italy, Australia and the United Kingdom. India participated in the 4th meeting of the Moscow format consultations on Afghanistan held in Moscow yesterday. Special envoys and senior officials from Russia, China, Pakistan, Iran, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan also participated in the meeting. The External Affairs Ministry said during the meeting the participants discussed issues related to Afghanistan. These include the current humanitarian situation and the ongoing efforts of various stakeholders to provide assistance, intra-Afghan talks, formation of an inclusive and representative government, efforts to counter threats of terrorism and ensuring regional security. A youth delegation from Central Asian countries will visit India today. The External Affairs Ministry said the 7-day visit is taking place at the initiative of India. During the first India-Central Asia Summit held in January this year, it was decided that annually 100-member youth delegation will visit India from the Central Asian countries. The India-Central Asian Summit framework is an effort to reinvigorate and reimagine the age-old historical and cultural linkages between India and countries in Central Asia. The Ministry of Civil Aviation has said that wearing of masks is not compulsory during air travel, but passengers should preferably use them amid the declining number of coronavirus cases. Till now, the use of masks or face covers in flights was mandatory. The ministry added that the decision has been taken in line with the government's policy of a graded approach to COVID-19 management response. It said the in-flight announcements will only mention that in view of the threat posed by COVID-19, all passengers should preferably use mask or face covers. It said any specific reference to a fine and penal action need not be announced. In Gujarat, the filing of nominations for the second phase of assembly elections will end this evening. Scrutiny of nomination papers will be held tomorrow. Today is also the last day for withdrawal of candidature for the first phase of assembly elections in the state. The Election Commission has declared 999 nominations as valid for the first phase of polls. Meanwhile, Election Commission is making special efforts to increase the voter turnout in the state. We have a report.
The Election Commission has launched Avsar Lokshahi Ka campaign to spread awareness about voting among people. Talking exclusively with AIR, Chief Electoral Officer P. Bharti said the Commission is focusing on areas which registered low voter turnout in the last Assembly elections.
जिस क्षेत्रों में कम मात्रा में मतदान हुआ उन मतदान क्षेत्रों पर ज्यादा ध्यान केंद्रित करने के लिए 2022 पोलिंग स्टेशन हमें फाइनल किया है. इसमें एवरेज वोटर टर्नआउट हुआ था 49% है. सो ये 49% को इस इलेक्शन में हम लोग 65% तक लाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं.
Commission has also created booth awareness groups to encourage people to vote in large number. In a unique initiative with Amul Dairy, voting awareness messages will be spread among the voters through Amul milk bags in the 5 assembly constituencies in Gandhinagar from today. With Sanjeev Sharma, Aparna Khun, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
The Enforcement Directorate or ED has summoned Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren for questioning today in a money laundering case linked to alleged illegal mining in the state. A team of 3 ED officials headed by a Joint Director rank officer has reached Ranchi. The Chief Minister has been asked to appear at the regional office of the ED in Ranchi for questioning and recording of his statement under the provisions of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Meanwhile, UPA Legislature Party meeting took place at Chief Minister's residence in Ranchi last night. The agency has already arrested Mr. Soren's political aide, Pankaj Mishra, and 2 others, Bachchu Yadav and Prem Prakash, in this case. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. Northeast Diary program, broadcast every Thursday and Sunday at 5:30 p.m. brings very interesting and enchanting stories from the 8 Indian states of Northeast India. Northeast Diary this week, that is 17th of November, brings an exclusive interview with Opang Jameer, a fashion model, assistant editor of Northeast Window magazine and curator for handloom and sustainable fashion. Looking forward to see you there. Welcome back to the morning news. A month-long Kashi Tamil Sangamam will begin at Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will formally inaugurate the event on Saturday. The objective of Sangamam is to rediscover, reaffirm and celebrate the age-old links between Tamil Nadu and Kashi, 2 of the country's most important and ancient seats of learning. Kashi Tamil Sangamam aims to provide an opportunity for scholars, students, philosophers, traders, artisans, artists and people from the 2 regions to come together, share their knowledge, culture and best practices and learn from each other's experience. Our correspondent has filed this report.
First train carrying the delegates for the Kashi Tamil Sangamam will reach tomorrow after midnight at Varanasi railway station, and a grand welcome is waiting for them in Kashi. More than 2,000 delegates from Tamil Nadu under 12 categories will visit Varanasi on 8-day tours during this Sangamam. They will see places of interest in and around Varanasi, including Prayagraj and Ayodhya, and participate in seminars, lectures and site visits to interact with local people of the relevant categories. Along with this, a month-long exhibition of handlooms, handcrafts, one district, one product, books, documentaries, cuisine, art forms, history, tourist places of Tamil Nadu will be put up in Varanasi for the benefit of the local people. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Varanasi.
The Indian Space Research Organisation ISRO is all set to make history by launching first ever private rocket from Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh tomorrow. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh said he will be in Sriharikota to witness the historic maiden private launch of Vikram suborbital VKS rocket. He said Vikram rocket launch will herald a level playing field for cost-efficient satellite launch services by disrupting the entry barriers. In the United States, Republicans have secured the 218 seats needed to win a majority in the lower chamber of the Congress, according to the CBS News projects. The party's majority in the House of Representatives is razor thin, but it is enough to stall President Joe Biden's agenda for the next 2 years. It marks a return to divided government, with Democrats still retaining power in the Senate. Republican Kevin McCarthy will replace Democrat Nancy Pelosi as the next Speaker of the House. President Biden congratulated Mr. McCarthy and offered to work with Republicans to deliver results for Americans. The new Congress will be convened on the 3rd of January next year. On to sports. In shooting, India's pistol shooters won all 4 available gold medals for the second consecutive day, extending their golden run at the 15th Asian Air Gun Championship in South Korea yesterday. India's medal haul presently stands at 22 gold, 8 silver and 4 bronze medals. The day's first medal event, the 10-meter air pistol women, saw an all-India title clash where Rhythm Sangwan prevailed over Palak. That was followed by yet another all-India gold medal match in the 10-meter air pistol women junior event where Manu Bhaker beat Isha Singh. Later in the day, the Indian men's senior and junior 10-meter air pistol teams also claimed gold medals in their respective events. Parts of North India are likely to experience cold conditions in the coming days. The northwesterly winds coming from the Himalayas to the Gangetic Plains are expected to bring down temperatures in the areas. India Meteorological Department has said that the western Himalayan region is likely to receive mild to moderate rainfall and snowfall over the next few days. The temperatures in Delhi are expected to gradually drop by Saturday. In the past week, several areas of Himachal Pradesh has received widespread snowfall and extreme cold climatic conditions. And now for an overview of today's newspaper is over to Renu Kataria.
Thank you, Anuja. India's G20 presidency to be action-oriented, assures Prime Minister Modi as he takes over the charge, cites the Tribune. The Indian Express headline says G20 echoes PM's no era for war remark. In their first bilateral talks, Modi-Sunak look forward to free trade agreement, roll out new visa scheme, writes the Hindustan Times. The Pioneer notes basic group of countries slams rich nations for reneging on climate pledge. The Hindu reports at COP27, India and 3 others oppose carbon border tax. The Times of India reports NASA's Artemis rocket ship on course for moon after epic launch. Headline in the Economic Times writes, UK inflation hits 41-year peak on energy expense. And finally, empowering and skilling women and girls in cyberspace, NCW launches 4th phase of Digital Shakti campaign, writes the Statesman.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts India's G20 presidency will be inclusive, decisive and action-oriented. Filing of nominations for second phase of Gujarat Assembly elections to end this evening. Civil Aviation Ministry removes mandatory requirement of wearing masks inside flights. Enforcement Directorate summons Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren in illegal mining case today. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.